Morning, Bones.
Morning, Padre. I am beside myself with what Democrat responses are to this ongoing shutdown that the whole country's involved in.
Oh, I'm telling you, Bones. I mean, we're in day 27, and the things coming out and being said by the Democrats and what their issues are is blowing me away, all at the expense of the American people.
Yeah, they don't have. I watched one little bit of Nancy Pelosi talking about it as much as I could stand, but she stumbled all over herself and really didn't come up with a good reason why they won't um, change their votes and reopen the government. There was a plan to keep the government open while they had the discussions, and the Democrats all voted against it.
Well,
Seven
exactly.
different times,
And you
I
had
think.
the number two Democrat come out and actually say in a live interview, we are keeping the government shut down to use it as leverage to get our things pushed through. They're not even hiding the fact. They're trying to leverage the people and trying to hold the American public hostage to get their way.
Yeah, it's like having a 4 or 5 year old child in the toy section that wants a toy and you're not going to get it for him.
Yeah,
Like, no, we're not buying that. It's your cousin's birthday. We're going to get him a toy. You can't have that.
right. And then they just sit down and fold their arms and scream and holler. And that reminds me so much of what's going on with these Democrats today. We're day 27 of the shutdown. Uh, President Trump found a way to fund the troops to get them their paychecks. And what did the Democratic Party do? They turned
They
around and
want to
tried to
sue.
sue him for
Yeah.
getting our troops paid.
Yeah, they want to sue our president for doing the right thing.
Right, he's busting his butt to try to keep the country at least stabilized, and it's going against their leveraging. He found an anonymous donor that donated, I believe it was $130 million to continue paying our troops. And they're pissed off about that.
I say thank you to whoever that was. I'm not sure who it was. If he wants to remain anonymous, that's up to him. But what a great gesture, you know, or
Exactly.
what a great American patriot gesture,
Exactly.
you know.
He's
Um,
trying to find a way to keep things rolling, and they're trying to find a way to keep it shut down. And every one of them that gets interviewed gets called out on this shutdown and point blank called out on you're holding Americans hostage so you can give free health care to illegal immigrants. And their response is first they try to evade the question and
yeah, they
finally have
say
to
they
wind
want
up
that.
admitting it.
They want health care for everybody. So roughly 42, it affects roughly 42 million people. But out of those 42 million, how many illegals are involved? That's the ones that they're going to cut, right?
Right.
Not the people that actually deserve it, but the
Mm-hmm.
people that are getting it uh, illegally. I would say, you know.
Well, exactly. And that's what they're holding out for. And they're holding America hostage. The SNAP benefits, of course, they're not going to get paid this go round. Do the
And you
Democrats
know what?
realize that
What's
90% of the people on SNAP are Democrats?
right? What's really ugly about this whole situation is they voted on this when they passed the big beautiful bill. You know,
Exactly.
why are we bringing this? We're hashing it over again and shutting down the government.
Right. You
Um,
voted on it. You passed the big beautiful bill, and now you're turning around and trying to change it and holding the government hostage as a result. saying Obamacare is
Yeah.
where it's at, but if Obamacare was so fantastic, why are we asking for trillions of dollars to refund it and keep it rolling?
Yeah. 152 trillion is what they put on the table.
Yeah, to keep a program rolling that's been proven doesn't work.
Senator Kennedy said something to the effect of, well, that'll happen when your donkey lays an egg.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. Gotta love that man.
Oh man, he is calling it out. Between him, Mike Johnson, oh man, they're calling him out right and left, and they have no answer. Uh,
Yeah, his position on the Democrat Party being divided is pretty amazing. If you can get a chance to listen to him talk about that. But
mhm.
one of the highlights of the video is that I watched is where he talks about the division and says, he says you would have the mentality of a meat thermometer not to see it.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of truth in that, Bones. A lot of truth in that. Uh,
Yeah,
that it's just been kind of crazy. You got even John Fetterman, a Democrat, turning around and speaking out against this party, saying, "What are we doing here? This isn't right."
what's up with this? I mean, I can see from my point of view. Let's get out with the old and in with the new.
Hmm.
Some of them people, even possibly on the Republican side, that have been there way too long.
Oh, I agree. Term
Yeah,
limits would be awesome
yeah,
for Congress. Uh,
yeah. That's where the division is the old people, the senators that are in the House making this argument. And then there's the other side of it, the far left side, which is being controlled by folks like Mandami and AOC and
hmm.
stuff, but they're not listening to Schumer. Um, but then the younger generation that's outside in the country is listening to Mandami, AOC, and such. But Senator
Jeffries.
Kennedy, yeah, his view there, Senator Kennedy's, is they're socialist.
Well, they
You know,
are. There's no way around it. Uh, Mandami is definitely socialist and Marxist. So's AOC. I mean, their policies, their agendas, none of it benefit the American people.
yeah, they want the American people dependent on the government
Hmm.
and not thinking or doing for themselves. So everybody out there would become a puppet or a drone.
Hmm. Oh, they
Everybody in the
want
U.S.
complete
would be.
control. And then you've got the
Yeah,
other Democrats like Schumer that have been there forever that know if they don't go along with that program, they don't have the support of their party and they're going to lose their political career. So they have to go along with it. These far left people, we talked last week about the No Kings protest. Uh, they're talking about this, excuse me, great success, 7 million people, which, we question, but even at that, 2% of the population. And they say it's a great success. Well, if 2% is a great success, Democrats, I would challenge you to take 2% of your paycheck and give the other 98% to these people that are missing out on their SNAP benefits, since 2% of your paycheck would be a huge success, would it not?
that would be awesome. I hope that happens.
Yeah, if we're going to talk numbers and you're going to claim 2% of the population as a great success, I'm guessing 2% of your paycheck would be just fine with you as well.
Right, right. Well, keep things in perspective. What is real, and that's kind of like where Senator Kennedy and the senators that are Republican are in the House trying to open the government, putting things on the table to keep the government open, and having it voted down by the Democrats.
Right.
You
And,
know,
and everything that the Republicans are proposing, the Democrats are saying, well, until you give us what we want, we're not even coming back to the
Yeah.
bargaining table.
$152 trillion, or we're not coming back.
Yeah.
You know, um, that's pretty unreal and outrageous. Um, for the government to be shut down. And the Republicans put out things trying to keep the government, trying to reopen the government, keep it open while the negotiations continue, right? It's not
Hmm.
like we're going to close the door on your thoughts and your ideas. We just want to move on with our lives, open the government so other people can live their lives, get paid, whatever the case may be, and we'll continue these negotiations. Isn't that
Exactly.
reasonable?
You would think that would be reasonable. You would think. But as you mentioned before, apparently it's easier to negotiate with terrorists than Democrats. Um,
Yeah.
it amazes me that all this is going on, and then you listen to the concerns of people around you, uh, or at least I've been noticing all the things going on with the shutdown, people being affected by lack of paychecks, government employees, SNAP benefits, all these people that are not going to be getting paid, which is really going to affect the overall economy of America. And what are people concerned about? Well, let's see. President Trump is building a ballroom. He's destroying the White House. Uh, this is all being done by donation and money of his from his own pocket, not taxpayer expense. Well, that's just ridiculous. We know that the taxpayers are going to foot the bill, and he's destroying the White House. Well, all you got to do is take about 3 minutes and research all the presidents that have made upgrades on the White House.
Yeah,
Look,
the ballroom area is a basketball court that Obama had built to the tune of several million dollars, a
at the
hundred and something.
taxpayer expense.
Yeah, yeah.
A
Um,
basketball court for crying out loud. Um,
I wonder how many games were actually played at the White House. I never seen a televised situation where they had a basketball game. Did you?
nope, can't say that I have. Uh,
Huh.
and yet, President Trump recognized that foreign leaders, we need to have a place big enough to hold functions for all of these people, and the White House has never
Oh
been able
wow.
to accommodate it. They have to have it off
Well,
site.
you have a big, beautiful ballroom, and you have foreign dignitaries and their wives and families coming to the White House to celebrate and have discussion and negotiate.
Hmm.
What a great concept. What a great concept that is.
Exactly, and not at the
So
taxpayer expense.
right.
He's doing this through donation, and the list of donors has been put out there, and then people question, okay, well, what's the trade-off for that? Well,
Yeah.
the trade-off is the
Everybody
taxpayer doesn't have to pay for the ballroom.
you can't take you can't take things at face value anymore because of all the rhetoric and lies that we've lived with from the left in control of the government.
Well, and
So
and
anything
you talk about the
happens is
lies and the
under
way things have been done. What is Schumer asking for now? A closed door meeting with very few of the leaders to go in and solve this. Well, the
a
Republicans are
backdoor,
saying,
yeah,
yeah, a backroom
backdoor
deal.
approach. Yeah.
Well, Republicans are saying, no, we're doing all this upfront, transparently, so that the public can see what's going on. And the Democrats don't like it. It's not the way they're used
Yeah.
to negotiating. And
And then
it's,
the public left supports this stuff.
well, again, their focus is this ballroom. And, oh, gee, during a shutdown, we're going to give money to Argentina. Well, isn't that something we've been
Oh,
looking into? And my understanding, there is some benefit to the U.S. for this helping out the ranchers in Argentina. We're going to get some beef from them, which is going to help lower the cost of beef over here. At the same time, putting a program in place to help our ranchers here get back on track so that we have our own beef supply.
so yeah, the deal's made and it's above ground, above the table, Everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be against that.
Right. Well, and they're going against it, and I don't know where the information came from when I brought this up. Somebody had thrown back an article, and I don't know where it came from, stating that, oh yeah, it's not really going to affect us that much, just small percentages. Well, a small percentage, even if what you're saying is true, a small percentage is better than nothing.
Oh yeah, you take a look at it in a personal point of view. A little bit can go a long ways. Over
Mm-hmm.
time, when you're working and whatnot, over time you're investing, hopefully, in a retirement fund for yourself, for your family, and whatnot. But it's a little bit each time,
Well,
right?
and
No,
I'll
over
throw this
time,
out.
over
Yeah,
time,
over time it
over
helps.
time, that grows. That grows. It gets bigger.
Yeah. And let's look at
So,
this. Okay, so they're saying even if what I'm having thrown at me is true, and it's only going to help America out 3%, 4%. Well, gee, let's take that 2% success again that you were so happy with for a No
right,
Kings protest. Well, this is more than that. So isn't that a
right.
success?
When there's millions of people in the U.S. and that helps out 3%. How big is it actually? Also, how big is that? Um, I wouldn't mind a 3% increase in my salary.
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind a 3% reduction in gas prices. I
Exactly.
wouldn't mind, you know.
Most people don't even get a 3% per year. Cost of living, whatever it
No,
is. It's
no.
and yet and yet you've got Democratic politicians across the country screaming to raise taxes, to tax the people more, claiming inflation. Uh, by all accounts, stock market's booming, inflation's going down. Why are we increasing taxes? It's to pay for your special programs and to line your pockets with money. We all know it. We all see it. J.D. Pritzker, who also, when he divulged his tax records this past year, made like $1.4 million gambling on a trip to Las Vegas. And now he's encouraging the citizens of Illinois to gamble. Yeah, you're going to lose sometimes, but look what just happened to me. I encourage you to go to our casinos and gamble. We all know what that leads to, people. You're not going to win. The
Right.
casinos are
Oh,
state owned. The state's just going to get more of your hard earned money. It's another way to tax you. You're not going to win.
right. Right. It's revenue. If you don't believe it, just look around at the casino. All that decoration inside the casino didn't come from them paying out money to everybody that walked through the door. You know,
Exactly. And you may have one or two big winners, but the majority of the people in there are losing. They're dumping their house payments. They're dumping that they're addicted to gambling. And here's J.D. Pritzker
preaching it.
making millions of dollars, claiming
Yeah.
a couple of million in a
It's a,
gambling trip to Las Vegas. J.D. Pritzker, your state is in disarray. What are you doing in Vegas?
right. 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 Then they complain about Trump playing golf in Scotland when he's making $1 million deals for the U.S.
Right. Yeah, you didn't see Trump coming back going, I made $2 million while I was in Scotland. No, I did something for our country while I was in Scotland. J.D. Pritzker, why don't you donate that money you won to your state?
Wow. That would be an American thing to do.
Man, you guys just keep piling money in your own pockets and being proud of it and laughing, and yet holding your citizens hostage at higher taxes, holding the government hostage with a shutdown to take away the paychecks and SNAP benefits and medical benefits. of all of your citizens while you're gloating that you just won millions of dollars gambling in Vegas while you were supposed to be back doing your damn job.
Right, right. And instead of doing their jobs, what are they doing? Uh, you had mentioned something that they were doing.
Well, yeah. So then the Democrats decide they're going to hold the Republicans hostage in the White House and make them stay there all night while they sat and read poetry and wouldn't let the
Yeah.
Republicans leave because they couldn't shut the doors and turn out the lights. And they made them sit there all night while the Democrats read poetry. I'm
Wow.
sure that really helped out the citizens that your politicians wanted to read poetry.
I hope it was good poetry that kept them interested, like Gunga Din or as such.
Yeah, I'm more baffled as this thing goes on. The Democrats aren't even hiding their agenda anymore, and
No,
it it disgusts me.
then to have the public support it, the
Yeah,
left side.
yeah, that just how can you be on board with that? I don't get it. And we could beat this up and go on and on all day with the statements that different politicians have made, the traps they've been caught in while they were on public interviews. Even CNN can't cover for them anymore. There, it's again, we could go on forever with this. Uh, Maybe we'll have even more to update on next time. But for now, from Padre Havoc and Bones, man, there's your 27th day of the shutdown update. Uh, Hopefully, you can find something positive to come out of it. Folks, pay attention to what's going on. Speak your
Yeah,
mind.
I think the positive side is if you take a look at what Vice President's doing, Vice President Vance, our President Donald Trump, senators such as Senator Kennedy, what they are doing and what they are focused on and what they're pushing for is the positive side of this. So take a look at that.
Yep, there you go. That's the only way you're going to do it, folks. So until next time.
Stay positive, everybody.